this is Grace.
Hi, this is Allentail, but you can call me Matthew.
This is Hannah.
Hi, this is Emily.
Hi, I'm Abby.
Hi, this is Jamie.
And
this is
Adventures in Absurdity.
Hello!
Hi.
Welcome back to Adventures in Absurdity, everybody. We've got Abby, Matthew, Emily, Grace, and Hannah today. Woo! And today we are discussing the champ of the camp. Dun dun dun.
Okay, so the episode we're doing today is Champ of the Camp. It's from album 45, Lost and Found. The description says, Connie narrates the story of her last year at summer camp and how she got stuck in the midst of an annual prank war at Camp Jumonville. And the directors of this episode are Bob Hoover and Marshall Younger. The writers are Kathy Buchanan and Nathan Hoover, and the sound designer was...
So the episode starts.
Episode starts with Connie. She is just finished the prologue, and yeah, she's writing a book.
Wow.
Tales of a small town soda jerk. I think that's what she's calling it.
Oh, yeah.
And it starts with her reviewing the prologue she wrote about how Odyssey it's shaped her and about the people, and she kind of talks about a forming moment in her life, this prank war.
Mm-hmm. For me, this episode doesn't even really start until after Connie's, that sixth prank happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be quite slow in times with the pranks because a lot of it is just them talking about, are you going to do the pranks or not, Connie?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
discussing
pretty
it. It's
much.
more of like a fun, there's a lot of just like a fun little random bits.
Enter.
Yeah.
Before any sort of actual plot line starts.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the prank with the music under the floorboards, though I don't know quite how you rigged that up and whatever time this would have been in, but I'm
Yeah.
sure Eugene/Goggles could have figured that out.
Yeah, that's true. It's not like they just threw like a Bluetooth speaker under there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if they had a Bluetooth, they'd probably be too far away at the boys' cabin.
Yeah, boom.
Yeah, exactly.
Cassette player, woohoo!
But
This is probably 85, so yeah.
yeah. I kept imagining a record player down there, which is far too old. But
How deep does it go underneath the floors that you can fit a whole record player?
Also, how the boys snuck across to the girls' camp to do all this stuff without getting noticed.
yeah,
What
honestly.
equipment they were going to hide, and the equipment they would need to take up the floorboards.
Mm-hmm.
Also, where did the keys come from?
I wondered that too.
Yeah.
They caught them all by hand.
I also what is it? They take the Connie's bear and put him on the flagpole or something like that.
Spooky, yeah.
This episode gives me major Parent Trap vibes. The one with Lindsay Lohan when they're playing all the pranks on each other at camp.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, well, then I'm just gonna skip to, I don't understand why June called Connie in the middle of frickin' summer camp to tell her parents signed their divorce papers and let her enjoy the week.
That is exactly what I thought. The minute I heard that, I was like, who calls their daughter in the middle of summer camp to be like, yeah, so we've decided to get divorced. Have fun at camp.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Especially because Connie went to forget all her problems
exactly.
at home.
Connie went to get. This was a sporting time for Connie to get away. This was supposed to be one of the fun, calm times for her before she had to go back to all the, she should have known that it would have ruined the rest of her time at camp and filled it with bad memories. The rest of it. Luckily for Connie, it didn't. But I know that if I had been. If that had happened to me in the middle of camp, I would spent the rest of it crying with my friends. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't think I would have. Which I actually believe that I feel like considering that Connie can be quite emotional, I feel like obviously she had turned off her emotions in a way as a child. Hold on. Keep going.
I mean, you were the one. Okay, she muted herself, as I see now.
Yeah.
She just stopped talking and was like, "Go on."
Yeah. Yeah. Keep going. We can read your mind. We can continue on.
Something,
Sorry, I'm back.
Welcome back to the party.
I'm back again. But yeah, I think it was just a thing to do, especially as a parent.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I understand, like, from a writing standpoint, they had to find something to be the catalyst to get Connie to do that. But
Yeah.
I love June, and this just didn't shine a very good light on her as a mother.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel
like
you kind of need to mentally prepare before you like go home and your parents aren't together anymore.
Yeah.
Well, her
Like,
parents were
true.
already separated. This was just them. We'd signed divorce papers today.
Yeah. And like,
Yeah.
so she already knew, so maybe her mom just figured like she would know it was coming, so it wasn't that big of a deal. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Isn't she like living with her aunt while her parents were split up a little bit?
There
I don't-
definitely
I
was a
think
little
so.
bit there, yeah. She mentions
I
that
think
like
she did.
a really long time ago. Because she wanted to like go there when she wanted to get out of Odyssey before
Yeah.
she
Right. Yeah. Connie seems like, I don't know, like kind of what Abby said. Connie like ignores it incredibly well. Like she just doesn't like, oh, you're getting divorced. Well, okay, I want to go sleep for like the rest of camp. But then nope, actually, I'm gonna go headfirst into this prank war and try and make Goggles drown in the creek in between the boys and girls cabins.
Yes.
Like
I mean, I think she definitely tends to take action, like as a character. Like it's not out of
that's
character.
true.
I want to take
Yeah.
action. Like when Mitch died, she like showed up at work the next day, and Whit was like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I need to work." Okay, like she's that kind of person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just distract yourself
She,
from.
she distract herself from it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Or like when her and Mitch broke up and she came home, she just wanted to work and go back to life as normal.
Yeah.
And then her and June cried over that movie with Whit there, and he's like, I feel like I can't. Also, but I was listening to Much Ado About Jealousy that last night, and that's the one where Jules and Jillian are getting really close, and Connie's jealous. But then Penny is jealous because she thinks Connie and Jillian are best friends now. But
Yeah.
Connie is watching that same movie.
Yeah, it's the
from
same
Eggshells.
movie,
Yes.
which makes me so sad because she's watching it by herself and crying. Sadness.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, I was like, oh wow, that's a great little continuance there.
Mhm. Yeah.
Which coincidentally, the next note I have is actually something about continuance. So I guess this is when they're planning the prank to get Eugene to walk across the bridge and fall through. And Connie says to Hope, he's a geek. Most girls probably tell him to get lost and then throw mud on him.
Yeah.
So I was in the official guide today. Apparently, and this was in there, Eugene tells Jimmy this same thing in The Trouble with Girls.
Oh
So that's why I went and listened to The Trouble with Girls
Tell her to get
after.
I remember.
Yes, and here's all the quotes from that. So even before Eugene says this, Kurt and Jimmy are talking, and Kurt and Jim, they're going on because they both have these girls who have major crushes on them and won't stop. And Kurt tells Jimmy, tell her to get lost and then throw mud on her. That's how he got rid of the girl that tried to kiss him last week.
That's so funny.
And then when Eugene says it, it's when Kurt and Jimmy are talking to Eugene, and Eugene says, have you tried telling her to get lost and throw mud on her? And then Jimmy replies, and Eugene goes, that's how the girls used to get rid of me.
That
And-
must have been like a joke. That must have happened to one of the writers, something like a joke. You know what I mean? Like that happened.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
joke.
Definitely an inside joke.
I love that.
Yeah, and then Jimmy takes Eugene's advice, a quick summary of a different episode. On like reverse psychology and asking Jessie to be his girlfriend, and Kurt goes, "I still think you should throw mud on her."
What a way to
And
get
then
rejected.
after the reverse psychology doesn't work, Jimmy goes, "Maybe I should have thrown some mud." So like this was a running joke through that episode, and
That's so funny.
yeah. Anyway, I just thought that was funny. All the mentions of throwing mud on people.
That like reminds me, speaking of like continuing things, it reminds me of Connie Goes to Camp and how she had to send Lucy home. And I feel like this gives a lot more
Oh, I forgot about
Sacrifice,
that.
yeah.
because you can tell like how conflicted she is in that episode about sending Lucy home. And like this gives it so much more depth because she knows exactly how she would have felt if she had to go home. Like, she was like, that's the last thing I want to happen. So like, I don't know. I think this just like gives that a little bit more context, and it was really interesting.
Definitely.
That's wow. I didn't even think about that. I wonder if the writers think back to episodes like that when they do episodes like this.
Maybe.
I don't know. I feel like sometimes they do, and it's on purpose, and then sometimes they don't, and we're all like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And then like dedicated fans like us are just like, oh, by the way, wow, they must have like deliberately written that in, and then they're just like, yeah, we planned that from the start.
Yeah. Oh, us. Oh, the writers are so good, and they're so good at keeping things like, no plot holes and all this. And the writers are like, yeah, sure, whatever.
We're great at that, yeah.
Whatever you say.
How old is Connie again? Because on the official podcast, they said
She's
she was
supposed to be
28.
like.
And if we use the formula they gave us on that podcast, she should only be 27 now, not 28 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Shaking my head. Oh, okay. Back to the episode.
Okay, so I don't remember. I think it was shortly after June called, saying that they were getting a divorce or whatever. Line, everything that felt secure to me was gone. That hit me deep because it just like, especially at the beginning too, when she was like, "No, I lost control, so I want to do this prank thing." Like, kind of forget everything. It just kind of falls back to the Connie tuning out everything and just kind of suppressing her feelings. It's sad news.
Yeah, and like the lack of like roots that she had just like when she showed up in Odyssey, and like because this was her telling about like how she was before she moved to Odyssey, and so like that feeling of not having any roots or like anything solid in her life, and then she gets like wit's end and wit, and like that's how she like met Jesus because he gave her something solid in her life. Like I just think that's really cool.
Yeah. When Connie is in the bathroom and Goggles picks up on the other end of the walkie-talkie, Eugene actually seems like a lot more human in this scene than he did when he first came to Odyssey, which like low-key surprises me. You're like, he was supposed to be this scientific nerdy dude his whole life, but he obviously still is, but he still's like very human. He isn't having trouble with empathy or anything.
Yeah. Well, I think obviously, even as a child, he's been through a lot. But then as times get older, I think, really just like started catching up to him.
It makes sense for like Eugene at like as he was when he first came to Wits End to have the more like academic, very wise talking. He has a very large vocabulary. That's what I was going for. Like you can learn that over, and then like since he was a child, like you can learn that sort of personality and like be able to talk and act like that. But as a child, you don't have that much time to develop a very like academic way of acting and speaking. So like as a child, you can still be nerdy and stuff, but it's a lot easier to have like to show compassion and empathy and whatnot when you're younger. I feel than when you're an adult.
Yeah, it's pretty natural. Plus, he'd been in college for like 7 years. When he shows up at Wits End, that's gonna make you a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah.
And he was like talking with Connie on the other line or whatever about the whole divorce thing. First of all, that's such a Eugene thing to read her diary. Sorry, but
Yes.
Yeah.
and she's like Eugene, or she didn't know it was Eugene. But how he, I don't know. It was just kind of like it seemed so selfless to me. How he was like, I'll like kind of take the blame for you, but he was like still honest in it. I just thought that was really, like I said on the group chat, I don't know if anyone saw it, but I said he was such a dorky sweetheart because that's how he is in general. He's can be a dork, but he's so empathetic at some points, and it melts my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he definitely has a lot of compassion. Like overall, he's just not always great at showing it. But like since this was like an action he could take, like he did show it.
Eugene reveals, or when Connie and Eugene are talking, and she's like, he goes, the story of Camp Jumonville is a great one, and she goes, I know, that's why I'm writing about it. And he goes, what? But when they talk, and she's like, I am the Avenger, and he's like, you jest because I am Goggle. And the music that plays after he says that is like so dramatic and like it's some big revelation, and you're just like, I mean, the first time you listen to it, you're kind of shocked, but you're also like, it's Odyssey. What else is new?
Yeah.
I love how, oh yeah, this will be our little secret, but Mr. Whitaker!
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Like, you can bet that he told like all the kids in the
Oh,
in the shop
goodness.
that-
Oh yeah.
Oh.
He's like, you're never gonna believe this.
in the guide, they said that little scene originally it was supposed to end when like they just realized that they knew each other from beforehand, but Will Ryan suggested Eugene running off and like having to tell somebody that Connie had a crush on him.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of improv by Katie and Will.
Yeah. I think that's much more like accurate to the character.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can tell
Oh, yeah.
you how in touch with the characters they
Exactly.
are.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
Eugene likes to act as if he wouldn't do that, but he would like 100% do that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, he gets on to Connie for doing stuff like that, but then like he does the same sort of thing.
Like it reminds me of that time he recorded Connie being like, "You're right, Eugene," and like using it as his ringtone.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I fully expected Eugene to like use that knowledge and be like, all right, Connie, so you are going to have to pick up on some of my tasks around the shop. Otherwise, Mr. Whitaker's going to know about something.
Oh. Going back just a little bit from that, Eugene's interaction with the camp director, though, after he learns about the Bothselwood, is just hilarious.
That is so
We
funny.
could yell, we both have healthy lungs.
The director's
And-
like, what?
Fun fact about the director, also taking this from the guide, the guy who voices the director is named Alfonso Freeman, and he is Morgan Freeman's son.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah. I
That's
was
so
shocked.
random.
Wow.
I was like, okay, Morgan Freeman's son. All right.
That's
I get Morgan Freeman to narrate an Odyssey episode.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
Yo,
goodness.
that'd be
Morgan
so
Freeman
cool.
comes to town. Would be better than the Dobson episode.
Ooh.
Right.
That's the tea. Going back though to Connie and Will's Will and Katie's chemistry, when Eugene is reading through after Connie briefly mentions that she may have had a crush on him, and she shuts down, and Eugene's like, well, I'm gonna finish reading it. And he starts reading out loud, and she goes, blah, 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 like,
I
can see her, like, staring at the
That was
ground,
so funny.
away from Eugene with her arms crossed, like, not making eye contact. Like, I could just see that scene
little
going
kid.
so well.
That's so funny, and I do that sort of. You know what I mean? That's so like real. That's so real.
Mhm.
Yeah, for
You know what
sure.
I mean?
It's one of those things where like she's writing it and she's like, this is kind of cute and romantic. I'll play it up a little bit. And then he's reading it and she's like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no.
Yeah.
Abort.
More. Can only imagine Whit's reaction.
Oh,
He would just
That would be
laugh,
funny.
you know. He would
Yeah.
just give
yeah,
a
he'd
hearty
probably just
chuckle.
be like, "Wow,
That
that's a
and it
cool
would
story, Eugene. Bye."
and it would cause Connie and Eugene squabbles, and he would just do his little chuckle thing and
Yeah.
can get on with
Yeah.
life.
Connie was talking about how she felt like the prank wars sometimes, they get out of hand and become not dangerous, but they feel wrong to her sometimes and they get too out of hand. What do you think is the line where it becomes was there any pranks in the show that you felt crossed the line?
I definitely think
Like-
having him fall in the creek would have been a little too far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
that.
could be dangerous.
But we also I always imagine it as like a suspension bridge for some reason. But I mean, it could be just above the creek, and it could be a fairly deep creek, or it could be a
Yeah.
sand bottom creek, and it.
Yeah, they also describe it as extreme, so it's probably not exactly like
Yeah.
rip
Rushing.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
either way, someone could get hurt on that if you're
I
young
say-
kids and you don't know what you're doing. Except it's Eugene and he doesn't know.
True.
That was their saving grace.
Yeah.
I think that prank was about the only one that they mentioned that was too far. Maybe the itching powder, but the itching powder is also like a camp classic, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know whether the recipe that Connie gave, what was it? Like maple seed something or other and rose
And
hip?
rose hips, yeah.
I wonder if that
I
would
think that sounds
actually work. I'll be
I
a
feel
camp
like
counselor
it
this year,
would.
so
And it's funny, back to the episode a little bit, you can tell like what an impact going to camp had on Connie because she's been a counselor at Camp Butternut and like
Mhm.
all that kind of
Yeah.
has like she pretty much has like a passion for like having other kids at camp and stuff. So it's kind of cool to see like where that came from.
Okay, so again, I was reading in the guide about this episode, and so Camp Jumonville is the name of an actual camp one of the writers went to,
oh,
but it's in Pennsylvania. But right down the road from Camp Jumonville, there's a Connellsville.
what?
Oh.
I don't know if that has any correlation with how they named Odyssey, like the one
Yeah.
writer was from that area and might have seen the signs. But yeah, how cool is that? Well, anything else on the episode?
Is it just me, or did Marcy ship Connie and Eugene for a second? I had that down in my
Oh,
notes.
Yeah.
I'm just like, Marcy shipped them because she's like, oh, you normally don't have crushes on guys you don't know, but this should be an exception. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
Marcy.
Is that the same Marcy who's in like the Connie episode when they like go to the beach and they're surfing and stuff?
Probably.
guess
Believe
so.
so.
You'd imagine.
Nice. I like that.
Continuity.
I also noticed, just listening to more recent Odyssey episodes, Connie really didn't have a best friend between like when she came to Odyssey and became a Christian until like Penny. Like she was just friends
Yeah.
with Whit and Eugene and Bernard.
Yeah.
She always
and
refers
Jason.
to Eugene as her best friend, but
Well, do you guys want to know what episode we're doing next week?
Yeah!
yeah.
All right, drum roll. Next week we will be discussing Missionary Impossible.
Yeah.
Woo! I don't know what episode that is. Yeah.
It has Jason in it.
Oh no, okay.
But it also has
Yeah.
Alex and Nathaniel in it. So Alex
And
and Nathaniel.
Sarah.
Oh,
are the
wait,
mom,
Nathaniel-
and Sarah.
Yo.
You like
Yeah.
Nathaniel?
Well, Nathaniel's the one who's basically Eugene, but in a child form, right?
Kind of.
Pretty much.
Yeah, like not
There's
like he's
always
his own
one
character, but also
variant.
like he's mini Eugene. So, disclaimer: we're also not affiliated with Focus on the Family, by the way. Please don't ever think that.
Today's episode was brought to you by Aram, the recording bot.
We're
We
chaos.
are chaos. Goodbye.